All right, and now we move on to the lighter side, I guess, the lighter side of our commander-in-chief. At last week's Correspondents' Dinner, President Obama broke ranks with tradition, and he took some shots at his opponents and his allies, but he rarely poked fun at himself. And that aroused the ire of some people in Washington. The president dropping self-deprecation in his humor, but is it to his advantage? The Washington Post's Paul Farhi wrote a piece this week looking at our presidents and their funny bones. Paul, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
You know, it's been conventional wisdom forever in Washington that presidents should be funny by poking fun at themselves. But President Obama's not doing that.
He's gone the other way. Instead of poking fun at himself, he pokes fun at just about everybody. Republicans, Democrats, people in his administration. Hillary Clinton took some humor and pokes as well. And it is different. Presidents tend to make fun of themselves and not others.
So what's this about? I mean, is it a new generation in comedy? Insult comedy's big, but you don't expect it from presidents.
You don't expect it from presidents because the risk of it is that they will look like they are taking a hammer to their opponents. The president is the most powerful person on the planet, and for him to strike out at his opponents, even in a humorous way, tends to look like too much power exercised against smaller targets. The president can end up looking like he's just being mean.
And of course, even when presidents indulge themselves in self-deprecating humor, as George W. Bush did, they can get criticized. I mean, remember the flap over President Bush talking about looking for the weapons of mass destruction under the chairs in the White House?
That went terribly, terribly badly for him, and it looked insensitive. And again, even self-deprecating humor can backfire. But I think the risk is when you're making fun of others, it can make you look aggressive, even a bit hostile.
Yeah, so it's in a way could be harmful to his image.
It absolutely can. It makes a person look like they're got a little bit too much edge on them, perhaps. Particularly for the president, who's supposed to be the one who brings the country together. Humor wielded badly can come back on you and strike badly against you.
Okay, so you pointed this out very nicely in a piece in the Washington Post earlier this week, which readers can find online. And you got a lot of blowback. Why?
Well, I think it broke one of two ways. If you were a Democrat, you thought the president was very funny. If you were a Republican, you said, aha, that's exactly what I suspected about this man. So again, the partisanship of it was clear. I wasn't particularly saying that the president wasn't funny. I'll leave it for the viewer and the reader to decide whether he's funny or not. I was saying that his style had changed from the way George Bush did it, the way Bill Clinton did it, the way Ronald Reagan did it, certainly.
What do you think it says about President Obama that he chooses to take this route in humor?
I think it's a reflection of his personality. Of course, he's not writing the jokes. He has a staff writing them for him, but of course he approves of these jokes, so it must reflect his sense of humor.
And he delivered them with relish, I must say.
He is actually a very good comedian, as it turns out. I thought he outshone Jay Leno, who's the professional's professional. So he's good at delivering these kind of jokes. But the real question becomes, is that the way the president wants to relate to his audience? Is that the way he wants to say, here's how I feel about my opponents and my friends?
So I guess we have to wait and see whether the tone changes right before the next election. Huh?
Well, and I think it will too, because again, the risk is too great if you do this repeatedly.
Paul Farhi, thank you very much. Washington Post writer, appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Bill.